Hello, hi guys. Hi. Sorry, trying to put things in order. Can you hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Hello. Okay, so hello, welcome officially in my feedback stream. Jesus Christ. Is DC invite working? Discord invite? No, it is not. I will link my Discord invitation right now. Give me a second. Oof, I have too many windows on my monitor today. Okay, so everyone is welcomed for my Discord. You can go there and post your paintings in critic and comment channel, and we will see how much time will it take to do the CNC for those stuff that I got from previous days, and we may go through the new submissions if we will have any. Hello. Okay, so I will go in. Okay, first of all, I will do a very small spoiler for the incoming miniature for from Awesome Creations. So this is the illustration we are currently working in. It's a very small part of the illustration. You can see two characters over here. This is the very small spoiler, and I think that it should be pretty cool. We have very talented artists working on the I don't know, graphic illustration. Her name is Patrycja Wójcik. It is not an mermaid and this is not an owl, but I think that I should do at least some trolling with a mermaid owl. Hello, thank you for the follow. Okay, so this is my Discord, guys, right? I will maybe put it like that so you won't see all of my channels, which are not that controversial, like Best for Minis. Go there, guys. This is a new Discord. I will maybe put an invite over here as well. So this is Best for Minis Discord channel. The Best for Minis is a pretty big miniature repost account on IG. It's pretty great, I would say, and they decided to make a new Discord channel where you can share your art, and also you can find like the reposts of different cool miniature pieces of art. Okay, I have to read the chat. I'm one of the friends of Sergio. We met you in Eindhoven, just to let you know. Hey! Good to see you here. Thank you for coming. Also, it was nice to meet you guys in Eindhoven during Scale Model Challenge. So this is Best for Me Discord. This is my Discord. Quality content over here, as you can see, and here is comment criticism. We already got a submission, a new submission. Okay, and also you can come like in spam a little bit in general, finished paintings. This is work from Tueka. He was on the Twitch yesterday, in my chat section. You may hear my cats in the background. Don't worry, they are fine. They are just very dramatic today again. Can I share pics in Discord for the feedback too? Yes, you can share it in comment criticism section. Work in progress, comment and criticism is a channel. Sorry, I shouldn't obscure the microphone. Comment and criticism is a channel for posting your anything you want to get comment and criticism on. It can be work in progress, or it may be finished art. If you are going to put work in progress, please add some kind of context. So for example, if it's a part of the miniature, at least describe how the rest of the miniature is supposed to work or look. Or maybe if you have only like the face painted, what do you want to do around the face? So I would my feedback would be more effective, basically. Finished paintings is for finished paintings, and work in progress is for posting your works in progress. And those two channels are more like high-fiving everyone and saying, wow, cool job, because not everyone wants to have their stuff commented and criticized. So I decided to split those two or three. Here we have competitions, and I need to update it for 2024. Competitions chat, this is that, this is a little bit that. If you want to spam anything from streams, go over here. Yeah, so more or less that this is that. Small introduction to my Discord. Wow, good job, Chili, that this is very important mission. To being not everyone can be enthusiastic, right? Okay, so we have comment criticism channel. I will start with the oldest one to be very fair and very orderly. Okay, so first one is Kaiju Atlas, and he posted. Okay, do we have any kind of description? It's 28mm and will be used in D&D, so I didn't try to go full display. But I want to get better. I also need to get my camera dialed in better, hoping to start some display stuff in the next couple of days. I had my ring light to bring, and it washed out some of my blues, especially the one with the shield facing the camera. I don't know enough about photo editing to fix it. Yeah. Basically, blue sometimes runs away on the photography, at least for me. I find it quite complicated to do it effectively, and it may be washed out. In particular, I find that it may be in particular washed out when there is very strong reds around. Okay, so we are starting with this one. We have three angles. I will maybe start with this one. There was one more on the Discord, but I'm not sure why it didn't load. Okay, so I think that the very bright red eyes are a good choice. And you can see, if you would, this is the trick I like to do. Hey, evening, good evening, hello guys, welcome in my feedback stream. If you want to, the first good step in judging your work, seeing if it works, is to either take it in your hand and just put it very far away, or squint your eyes and make your vision a little bit blurry. Okay, sorry, I got confused with my chat. Hello guys. So if you want to judge your painting, you can either put it very far away, so not all of the details will be visible, and also your miniatures in hand are less visible for you in detail, because they are very, very tiny, and on the computer they are just going very, very big, so sometimes the photos don't do justice for some details. So either going very far away or blurring out your vision. With Photoshop we can go like this. Sorry, wrong layer. So something like that. And over here you can see the elements that catch our attention the most. So I would say that this painting is quite successful because we can see as the strongest point the eyes over here, and the eyes are placed very closely to blue fur, and the blues are contrasting the warm red. You need to wear your glasses. So this is very good contrast choice, but I think that it would work better if this very warm red was contrasted in general with more of the colors in the miniature. So I would for the future you could either make the yellows a little bit colder or add blue shadows, or you could use in general colder colors. So I will maybe add a little bit of blue shadows, because this is always a good start. Okay, so I will just paint it because we are working in Photoshop today. Okay, you cannot see what exactly I'm trying to do, but this is not a Photoshop tutorial, so it doesn't matter. Brush, color, we are going for like something like this maybe. I need to pick a different brush. Okay, so something like this maybe. Hey. And I will just overpaint with a smaller. Okay, something like this. And using color shadows, you can bring up the redness in the focal point much stronger. I'm also shading a little bit the base because and you already can see that I didn't change that much. I just added a little bit of shadows and a little bit more colder colors, but you can see that it already works kind of differently, maybe a little bit over here and over here, because I turned like slightly down the warm colors all around, warm and bright colors, because yellow is very bright, very intense color, and usually it brings the attention very strongly. That's why, for example, wasps are yellow and black, because those are very graphical color combinations, and yellow is always like just biting your eyes to grab that attention. So maybe to like first step for general progress, because I can see that Kaiju, you are not afraid to use the color and you are pretty brave with your painting. I would try to like maybe tune a little bit the colors in your painting scheme. So first of all, think what elements of the miniature are focal points for you, and then try to contrast them and make them pop with everything else that you have on the miniature. So for example, if you decide to go for very warm, very intense eyes, then think how to contrast them with everything else on the miniature. The bluish fur was a great choice because it's colder, so we have like the first layer of contrast, It's also blue, so we have like the second layer of contrast. This is like the color wheel contrast. So red and blue are opposite on color wheel, so they are contrasting colors. They are I don't remember how it's called, but basically they are complementary colors. Yeah. And also blue is slightly desaturated and a little bit darker than this red. So you have like those layers of contrast built, and they work very nicely. And then I would try to do something similar with everything else basically over here. Also, painting the base with slightly more desaturated colors, and the saturated color may be either a little bit darker and duller or a little bit lighter and duller, because adding white or black desaturates intense colors. So you can either make it lighter and more pastel, or darker basically. This way the base won't fight for attention with the miniature. And over here, if we will scratch the darkness of the base, you can see that the brown over here is very intense, and this brown is actually more intense and more interesting for our eyes than most of the colors on this miniature, because we have a lot of grayish blues all around, which are cool and they are contrasting the eyes. But because the base is so intense, this saturated brown is bouncing off the shield, and we have like those two big elements fighting for our attention. Greetings, hello. Yeah, and why this is the problem? This is like the problem, because the base is slightly less intense, like slightly a little bit more less intense than this very intense eyes, but also this is very big when compared to those tiny eyes. So this bigger, slightly more desaturated area is stealing the attention from those very cool eyes. If we would keep the base darker, we have the attention hold over here. That's a cool mini, I have to say. Is it from GW? I think that it's from D&D. I'm not sure. You have to ask. You have to ask Kaiju Atlas over here. He just said that it will be used in the D&D. I'm not sure if it's GW. Do we have any GW fans over here? GW connoisseurs? Reaper miniature. Quite possible. Okay, so this is like my biggest feedback for this one. Anything else? I think that you could work more on finish of the miniature. So for example, black lining or cleaner painting. So this is a base. I know that it doesn't maybe matter that much, especially if it wasn't to be like perfect painting, and you said that it's not a display piece. But you could first of all paint like the more in the in the shape basically. So don't let the different colors bleed into each other too much, and then do the black lining. So basically taking a darker color, it's called black lining, but it doesn't have to be black. Taking this color like any kind of darker color, and just okay, I'm using the wrong color, wrong layer. Taking a darker color and just overpainting. Okay, this is not correct either. Just overpainting with darker lines the different areas and different lines to clean up the painting, because black lining basically puts things in order and makes the painting clearer and more tidy. So for example, like just putting those lines over here would clean up this element of the shield a lot. See? With it, like without it and with it. So black lining and whoops, sorry. And then more conscious color placement and saturations. But this is pretty good, I would say. Very nice. And it works from far away. Like, see, like right now with the slightly darker base, it works like that. And with the lines, okay, the lines doesn't matter that much from this far away. But over here, it's with slightly darker areas, it's more readable. Okay, next one, we have Siradis. And she's painting Kingdom Death 55 millimeters, I suppose. Devil Halloween special. This is pretty nice miniature and I like it a lot. This is very smooth painting. And we have a complementary base for it, which is a pumpkin. I decided to blur it out to not offend anyone anywhere, but the feeling is very interesting, I would say. The feeling of the pumpkin. Yeah, you can see the detail on my Discord if you want to. So I will just cut it out, maybe just add it over here. So we can at least have like this color of pumpkin placed somewhere. To have like this to have the context of the base somewhere over on the in the picture. Okay, something like that. We can try to do the blurring technique again. Blurring technique. This is not technique, I suppose. Blurring gimmick. Okay, this is the wrong kind of blur. This is the right blur. So right now, not this one. Okay, right now, I think that that the pumpkin will steal too much attention from the miniature. Yeah, like enjoyment and this pumpkin is very interesting topic. So right now we can see that the bright orange, and again orange is very intense color. There is a reason why the road works are usually in orange, because they need to be very visible. So orange is a tricky color because usually if it's bright and saturated, it steals the attention away from the main composition. And right now we can see that it actually is stealing the attention from the miniature. Why is it so? First of all, it's very bright, and second of all, it's very warm color. And the colors on the miniature are colder, and they are bright, but they are desaturated. So for example, we have very bright white hair, but white hair is desaturated and doesn't bear that much color information or in general information, because it's completely neutral. We don't know if it's cold or warm. And this like yellowish orange highlight is very intense when compared to the hair, because it's first of all bright, second of all yellow, so warm, not very warm but slightly warm, and it just takes the attention from her hair, I think. So I would try to maybe make the whole pumpkin darker with adding stronger shades. Okay, so darker pumpkin. I will use again blue because blue shades are always good, and maybe a little bit of orange, but darker orange. So keeping less highlight in the middle of the pumpkin, and then a little bit more blue somewhere over here. Something like that maybe. It helps to keep the attention over here. So I think that I would do something like that in the first place. The technique of the painting is pretty good. It's very smooth, so you are going, oops, sorry guys. So Cyradis, you are going in the very good direction, and just let me backtrack. Okay, cool. So I will go back. Oh no, I didn't want it to be so blurred. Okay. So going back to the focus photo, again, removing this. I will redo the shading because I removed it, sadly. Okay, keeping it a little bit desaturated, but also I would maybe try to make those colors over here slightly warmer in a way. So maybe, because this pink is very intense, and I actually think that it works pretty nicely right now against the pumpkin, because right now the orange, the pink is more saturated than the orange over here, I think, at least. Or it would be if the pumpkin had a little bit more neutral highlights, and I overpainted all of them. But I know I have, this is maybe unconventional idea, but I recently discovered the magic of lime highlights. So I will maybe try them out slightly over here, because, you know, this is very like paranormal character, right? So she doesn't have to be very realistic, she doesn't need to have very realistic highlights, and those unrealistic highlights may show that this is not a normal environment. So I think that I would try to add a little bit of some kind of crazy highlights. I would go with lime highlights all around the miniature to add more color and make it even crazier. And also those highlights will turn up the colors a little bit. So basically taking any kind of highlight over here and making it slightly more saturated with lime. and I would keep it mostly on the contents of the miniature, so I wouldn't bring it that much into the pumpkin. I'm not sure if I'm not overdoing it. And if you will do it consistently all over the miniature, it shouldn't look very strange. Why I decided to go for lime? Because I don't really like, personally, very neutral highlights, and I prefer when the highlight has some kind of interesting color. Lime in this particular case. It could be yellow. We can try to adjust it later to see how the different colors would actually work. And a little bit stronger maybe. Okay, so we have the highlights, and they make the top of the miniature warmer, so they bring more interest to this area, to the middle of the composition. And this is not what I want. Okay, sorry, my Photoshop is dysfunctioning. So we can see how it looks without the highlight and how it looks with the highlight. So just putting more interest and more saturation in the painting. We can play a little bit with those colors, and you can see, like, if I would do more warmer highlights, which would be more yellow, it would be in general warmer, and the miniature would stay in vibe with the pumpkin, and the painting would be more harmonious, but also it wouldn't basically stand out from the pumpkin that much. If we will keep colder colors of the highlights, and we wouldn't put them as strongly on the pumpkin base, the miniature will stand out from the background. I don't know, do we have any other nice... Okay, and here you have like this crazy teal highlights, which would also work, and they would make the miniature even more outlandish and even more unconventional. I personally love it. I think that I would love to see teal highlights on this pink. And this would work great with the base colors we have over here, because they are very saturated, kinda like, I would say that they are balanced, because they are warm and cold at the same time. I think that they are slightly more warmer, but they are on the colder side, so the warm / cold highlight, because this teal saturated highlight is kinda warm but more cold, so they are on the same temperature spectrum, I would say, but they are quite opposite on the color wheel. Again, I don't have the color wheel right now on my hand, and I want to Google for it, but if you would look on the color wheel, you would see that magenta and green are very far away. So they have something similar, something in common, so the warmth, but then everything else is very contrasting, and they are like bringing a lot of interest into the painting. So I think that I would go for teal. Over here you have blue highlights, which look much more neutral, but you know, it's hard to beat this. And yeah, I think that there is no other option for the highlight over here. Yeah, so you can choose. Basically, yellow are the most natural, then the lime, which is interesting. Then the teal, which is more interesting. The teal is basically advanced version of lime highlights. And then blues, which are pretty neutral, and they would bring more balance to the painting. Yeah. So what would I do? Like my final summary, I would add a little bit of color into the highlights, and this is not that much work because you can just go over the highlights you already have, which are neutral, and just add in the middle a little bit of color. And then darken the pumpkin a little bit. Also, the pumpkin is very much work in progress, so there is something to paint anyway. The blue one I think is very nice to create a night atmosphere. Yes, it is. So you can consider like what kind of atmosphere you want to create actually, what maybe character do you want to paint. I know so basically think about it. If she was meant to be like from hell, I think that I would go for warmer highlights, but she can be from any layer of hells, right? So maybe from the very cold one. I will go back to the slightly green / lime highlights, and I will show you how adding a little bit more of the shadows would work with this. So we can go even further, and contrasting everything is not always the case for everyone, and it's totally legit if someone doesn't want to bring much stronger shadows. But in case if you would like to add more contrast, even more, you could of course make the shadows even deeper. In my painting I like to create a vignette effect. So the the middle of the composition, the main focal points are the brightest, and then I like to make, the further I go away from them, I like to do everything slightly darker. So I'm creating this vignette, having lightness in the middle and darkness on the outside. So you could first of all make the shadows deeper, and second of all make them the most deeper on the end of the painting. Also adding like this little line in the middle of the hair will make them, what did I do? I moved something. I moved the layer. Okay. Adding this line in the middle of the bangs and in the middle of the layer of the hair will make them look much more shiny. See? So I just added a line. I'm not sure where the line was on my layers. I just added a line, but it makes the painting, the hair much more shiny because I basically created like this reflective surface. So we kept the light over here and the light over here, and just brought a little bit of contrast in the middle. So yeah, adding a little bit of shadows, and then I think that I overpainted on something on which I shouldn't paint. But adding the shadows will create more atmosphere and will bring more attention to the key points in the composition. I will maybe group everything so you can see how it looks without the changes and how it looks with the changes. So just adding the shadows and the highlights makes big difference. Okay, guys, if you have any questions about those comments, just ask, I'm happy to answer. Okay, here we have Geralt of Rivia, and over here I will give the feedback about painting the faces. So first of all, I personally like to sketch all of the colors around the miniature. There is not that many elements all over, but for sure I would fill a little bit of color into the hair, because it will be white, because Geralt has white hair, but it will be slightly more contrasted with the highlights going in. And because the hair is white, we cannot paint brighter highlights, because there is nothing brighter than white. So we will have to add some shadows into the painting. So we will proceed with just that. Give me a second. So yeah, adding some shadows. I'm not sure if it will be the correct, if it will be okay from the beginning, but just let me figure it out very roughly. So I would add like those slight shadows all around, because there would be some gray to shade everything. Also, the shades can be a little bit violet, because we have the violet shadows going around. So adding a little bit of violet to keep the shading consistent. My mouse work is very consistent as well, very even. Okay, so something like that. We will have like the brightest situation on the top of his hair, because usually we have the most light catching the top of the crown of our head. So the lightest over here, darker over here, and there is already the difference visible when contrasting the face. Second. So this is the first elements of my face painting is to fill the basic elements. So I would sketch yellowish eyes. I need to find a nice color for it. So Geralt has yellowish eyes, which are actually very important for the violet skin tone, because yellow contrasts violet very strongly, and the intensity of the eyes will be very visible in the painting. The sketching it doesn't need to be very even, because we just need those blobs of colors all around to know how it will more or less work. I will also add irises, because irises are like, especially for the yellow eyes, they are like this wasp colors, so very graphic, very intense. And I will add the outline of the what is the color of the color stuff? Is it the iris? I will add the lines around the color stuff. This face will haunt me tonight. Sorry. This is a piece submitted by the Mystery Man S. I'm not sure why some people on my Discord have visible nicks and some doesn't. I don't know if it's like, made on purpose or just random stuff because they came from Patreon. Okay, and then I would add darker line on the top of the over the eyes. So we are painting lashes because lashes are very important, and we'll paint the brows because brows are framing the eyes and the face, so they are always very important. We may add a little bit of white also. So I don't know, I'm not sure if Geralt had white brows. Guys, do you remember? Did he have white brows? For now they will be like this, because it really doesn't matter how they look like. So you can see how much it changed, and now we know what we are working with. So the shading shenanigans, basically. How to shade and how to highlight the face. So in general, the placement of the stuff is correct, but some of the placement is not optimal, I would say. So I will maybe zoom it out a little bit. So I'm taking the highlight color over here, and I will slightly correct the placements of some stuff. The optimal way, if you want to paint it as the character you want to paint, I think that this is the Witcher from the first installment of the game. We can actually have a look over here. Sorry for ignoring the description from Cyradis. This is the description for the Witcher. I tried sketching for the first time ever after the stream on Thursday night. It looks far better than it did, but it also looks undead. I'm not quite sure how to go about improving it. If it's meant to be a Witcher, it is good that he looks undead, right? Because the Witcher is kinda dead. Eyebrows are always necessary. Like, those are suboptimal eyebrows, but I just wanted to put something there. We can actually go have a look on the Witcher 1. Not you, but 1. Okay, so Geralt was kind of dead over here, like visually, right? Okay, this is the new Geralt has darker eyebrows, and the old Geralt, does he has the darker eyebrows? He has like this very neutral grey eyebrows, about which I don't care that much. Okay, this is YouTube, we don't want YouTube. Oh, perfect reference. Can you see it, guys? Where is the slider? I want the slider. Copy, not the link. I want this. Perfect reference. Okay, so he's a little bit more lively on this reference. It really depends in what direction you want to go with this painting. So if you wanted him to be more alive, then you can take those violet base colors and turn them slightly warmer. See, when I'm trying to source the colors, they are very neutral, almost white, in going more in the colder colors. So if you want to make him more alive, take the highlights and take them in this more alive direction. I'm not sure if it's the correct shade right away, but I will try to work with this. Oh yeah, I think that this is a good shade. So just going over the highlights, and also I will like fix the highlighting just slightly. The bird, like when you are trying to highlight something, try to think about which highlights are the closest to the source of light and which highlights are farther away, and try to make those highlights farther away not as light as the highlights closer to the source of lighting. So I would keep the highlights over here, so on the brow, on the cheekbones, on the middle of the nose, lighter and bigger than the highlight on the chin. Also, highlighting the chin so strongly makes the chin visually bigger. And I know that usually men aim for the Giga Chad bird, but I think that it was too much for our Geralt. Also, I'm overpainting the base color. Let's see how we can highlight it. Oh, okay, I think that this was the good. Okay, this was the nice change. So basically, I saturated the highlights with more of the basic skin tone. I will maybe soften the borders of the highlight slightly. This is I'm overpainting very much the basic picture, so don't mind that. Okay, so see, before we had like this white mustache basically on his lips, and also the lips will be darker. We need to paint the lip color. Over here you can see that he had like this visible shape, and over here it was too bright. We need some color in it. So first of all, I added a little bit of alive human tones into the highlights, and that already made everything warmer. What more can we do to make it even warmer? We can, I will do multiply. We can go into this like brownish red color. If we were painting with colors, I would go for oxide red, I think. And just add a little bit of. Okay, is it working or is it not working? It's working, but okay, this is too intense right now. So we can add a little bit of this saturation. You can do it with, for example, like this light brown GW shade. I'm sure, like sepia or something like that. There is one meant for shading the skin. So it could be done with an airbrush and this Citadel shade, just adding like those little filters of warmth over the face, and that would basically make him less dead and more natural and more alive. So yeah, and if you want to paint someone, the best thing to do is to work on the references. When trying to paint a character from the games, usually the characters, the 3D models are first of all they have their own sculpt, which is a creation and interpretation from one artist. Then we have the textures that usually are painted and shaded just so slightly by another artist, and then we have those lights and shadows from the environment coded into the game. So characters from the games, like game renders, aren't that good references in my opinion, because they have too much of a creative input from other people, and in general they are like in their core they are not realistic, but they are like those different layers of creations put together and just make to work to create the illusion of reality. So this is not the best like reference for painting, but you can take some inspiration from it. If you want to paint someone, I usually would look for a realistic pictures on the Google Images, because they basically work the best if you want to paint something realistic, especially if you will observe the skin tones, stuff like that. But with The Witcher we have to work with what we have. I think that this may be a good reference. So I would go for art style, art pieces of art like this, and I would try to observe how the shadows are shaping, how it works, stuff like that. So in this one over here, okay, I want the graphics, guys. I don't want the shop. So in this one we can see that he has very thin nose and he has like those shadows on the sides. So, and we are missing them on this nose, and we can make the nose thinner by adding them. I just need to find the right layer or to create it. Okay, so we already have a set color of shadows, which is violet in this piece. So I will just copy it. And going over the shadows that we've seen in the art, I will shade a little bit bottom of the nose in the first place, because usually bottom of the nose catches some shadow, because the nose is rounded, so the bottom catches some shadow. And I will paint it like this, maybe a little bit too even, so I will try to erase it slightly. So we have the nose, and right now we can see that it has some kind of topology present. Going back to the inspiration, he has deeper shadows over here, and then very visible smiling lines over here. He has his 5 o'clock shadow, which we have to add, and also very strong shadows all around his eyes. And those shadows we need to observe very carefully, because they usually shape the eye a lot. This will be a small guess on my side. I think that yeah, this head is very big. That's why I'm thinking mostly about shading with an airbrush, stuff like that. Also, like those shadows I would add with an airbrush as well, but I think that S would have to have a little bit practice with placements of like those delicate layers of washes or filters. He may have it already, but you know, adding like the shades over here, it just needs a little bit more control than just going with the primer or something like that. Okay, so adding those shadows in the corners of the nose over here, and again going back to the references. Where is Photoshop? I would stay like this over here, maybe make it a little bit deeper. I think that the deeper wasn't necessary. And the shadows around his eyes, they were bumping the they were like bumped to the eyebrows, which I will revisit in a second. But trying to mimic the shape of his shadows under his eyes, So they are kept mostly to the lower eyelid. And over here, they are too broad over here in the middle. So I would take the highlight color, which is here, and I would try to blend out a little bit them from this side, but I would keep this line, like this inner nose line, because he has like a little bit of sickly look, so I would keep a little bit of the violet present, but I wouldn't keep it as much, and that instantly like make his cheekbones look higher. In all the pics he has like angry lines between the eyes. Oh, I didn't focus on it. Yeah, he has like those too deep shadows, so we will try to mimic it actually. Give me a second, guys. How does the stream look like? Is it okay? Yeah, it is okay. We'll add the shadows then, since they were noticed. And I will erase them slightly. Because usually those features need to be a little bit more delicate. Because you know we are if any of you were on my workshops, then you've heard me saying that, but we as humans are trained to recognize different emotions in the human faces, and we are trained to read them. So some wrinkles, some facial features are for us are very important, but in reality, and we see them as very strong details, but in reality they are very smooth, and if they catch the shadow is just slight, but our heads think that it's very big because it means something. So for example, those lines over here, usually they are not that very visible, especially for women. They are a little bit darker for younger people, or a little bit more like chunky people round in general. They are usually flat, especially when the face is neutral. So when the face is neutral, everything is lying more smoothly. And when we are talking, when we are doing some facial expressions, when we are sad or I don't know, mad, when we are talking, when we are smiling, this gets like, you know, underlined. Also, when people get older, usually the face starts drooping a little bit, so this gets more visible. So you can, with showing those wrinkles on the side of your nose, you can show that either someone has strong facial expression, has either older face or more masculine face, because men has sometimes, not always, sometimes have these lines sharper than women. And you know, this is, people tend to paint them very strongly, like Geralt has this like contained in his design, so we are painting it, but in reality this is something very like overpainted by the designers of the game. This is a conscious choice to show them, to show these lines as so very strong. I think that they are even a little bit more strong, like too strong, because when we will zoom out, they are like, we just see them like they are so strong and so intense that they look like they were almost like, this is like a misplaced mustache, I would say. So we will like turn them down a little bit in a second, but the strong lines are artistic choice by the designers. In reality they wouldn't be visible that much, And also this is like the conscious choice of the designers to put such a dark feature on his face. Also, a conscious choice of the designer is the shape of the shadows under his eyes, right? So we need to observe how things looks, and we need to think how intense they are in reality. So those wrinkles around his brows, I painted them, but they are not that intense in reality. But we know that they are there and they are like important feature. So just be aware if you will want to paint something like this on your bust, don't overdo it. And also have in mind that some wrinkles you can just paint with highlighting and you don't have to shade everything. So if you had a like older healthy person, you don't have to shade all of the wrinkles on his face, you can just highlight some of them, highlight the crevices of the skin. Okay, so I painted those little crevices. I will go back to the brow layer and we'll try to fix the brows. And I have to admit that they are awful on him. Oh my god, I hate the bad brows. Those are like Giga Chad brows, and those brows are like, just please no more. But we will try to paint something. The pain of existence. Okay, so they are like more, like they are thicker over here and kind of going down over here. So we will partially erase them. And they are darker, but not that dark. So I will go with like this grayish blue color maybe, because usually, especially in men's faces, the black colors look a bit bluish. Also, it would look better in multiply layer, so maybe I will go to the shadow layer and try to paint it like that. In my opinion, it looks kind of better in a way. To paint it more detailed, we could go and not paint single hair of the eyebrows, but you can go, as you can see over here, you have like this darker blob shape of the eyebrow, and we have like those light lines visible, but those lines are in the color of the skin tone. So we can go back to add the detail. Oops, not this. And we can go with those little brush strokes and just add like those. Okay, in what shape they are going? They are like going more vertical. So like something like this. And the usually hair in eyebrows don't go like this. They usually go like this over here, and then they get elongated in this direction. So have that in mind when you want to paint a nice eyebrow. So I would go like this. Actually, here you can go like this, and over here you can go like more like this to paint this texture, to create this texture of the eyebrow. Okay, so the eyebrows are more or less done. Now we'll go revisit the shape of the shadows under his eyes, and we'll do it on this layer, I suppose, or maybe on that layer. Okay, so again, back to the reference. They kept with the shadow on the lower eyelids, so I will try to keep it in shape. At what point did it start? The inner corners are catching a little bit of shadow, so I will paint it as well, like this. And I will go into the highlight to work more on the shade over here. Hello, thank you for the follow. Okay, so something like that, and also on the top of his eyebrows, you can under his eyebrows, you can see that he has a little bit of highlight visible. Slight highlight. It's not only darkness, but there's a little bit of highlight, because usually the brow bones, if the brows are a little bit higher, then you can see like this little bit of highlight under the end of the eyebrows, and this guy basically has something like that, so we'll add a little bit of highlight over here, like that. This is such in-depth feedback. It's great. I'm learning so much, and it's not on my pieces. Yeah, that's why I wanted to start doing the feedback streams, right? Because this is feedback for a designated piece, but actually this is my advice for everyone. If you want to learn painting, try to find a painting group for constructive feedback. And first of all, learning how to give the feedback, to not be passive aggressive or to not be too intense, is very important life skill, and it may make your life much better, because also this way you learn how to talk with people and how to bear the feedback from other people better. But also it will also improve your own painting, because when you are trying to give feedback to other people, you actually start thinking more consciously about stuff you see and stuff you feel when you look at something, and you are trying to diagnose the problem basically. So you need to consciously think what I don't like over here and why I don't like it, and then the most important, how to fix it, in my opinion. So feedback is very good and very positive as long as it's constructive, and as long as it's done in the good as something positive basically, and as a learning point. So try to do it actually. And also try to do it and for people that want your feedback, because not everyone wants your feedback, and that's why I split the feedback into comment, criticism, and not into work in progress on my channel. So yeah, feedback is very important, and giving feedback to people was my first step at learning how to teach people, basically. How to teach miniature painting, yeah. So also over here we can see that he has shadows on the sides of his cheekbones, and that the cheekbones are shaded but more in a line and not in the point, and the shadow over here was the point basically. So we will try to neutralize it a little bit. So I'm blending it out, of course. Usually blending out the shadow helps a lot. So blending. I'm removing it from the middle of the face slightly. And again, his facial feature is very neutral, and this is very big scalp, so we can paint something in, for example, maybe reason, like a little bit smiling, corner of the lips, but in general I don't think that we can like go away like or make it work to paint too strong of the facial expression over here. With smaller scales, sometimes you can overpaint the sculpt completely because it's so small that the eye catches the painting as stronger visual pointers. So sometimes you can repaint the face of the miniature very strongly, but for this one I'm not sure if it would work that well. Okay, so this is the shadow layer. So I made it more neutral and kept it on the sides of his face. I don't think that it's too dark, but we need to add it also on the side of his brow. So bigger brush and just going perfect. Nice. Faces have lots of contrast. I find it hard to put lots of contrast on face without making it look odd, especially female faces. It depends. Like faces, on the one hand, they have very strong contrast, but on the other hand, the contrasts are like very subtle. So we need to layer those contrasts, and that's why this feedback is actually so much in depth, because I'm layering everything step by step, right? So I'm jumping in between the facial features, and I'm adjusting it, making something stronger and something blended out. So, for example, on female faces and also men faces, that would work too. Very strong and very important elements are the eyes. That's why you should paint your eyes, at least just put a blob of color and then paint the eyebrows, because this is something that contrasts the face very strongly, brings all of this contrast. Also color of the hair, right? This face looks completely different with white hair and with black hair. Just look. Okay, this is maybe not the best color, but look, like if I would give him black hair, first of all we get Professor Snape, and then the face look completely different. See? So those are like the conscious decisions you need to do, and you need to have the placement of them when you start painting, or at least be aware how everything works together. So we have, the faces are very contrasted, especially with the highlights and with the shadows, but you need to be very careful with the placements, because the shadows on the faces, they can change the painting almost completely. So for example, if you will add stronger shadows over here, the guy will look more like a skeleton. And if you would add stronger shadows over here, his face would look longer. If you would add rounder highlights, so more over here, and eliminate this, his face would look more full. So we just need to be very conscious of those decisions, and also having the reference as a observation points. This is very important, especially if you want to paint someone. So taking those observations on how someone looks, how is it painted, what colors you can find. For the colors, a very good idea is to save the picture and open Photoshop or MS Paint and just pick up the colors with the pipette and see how it works on the different areas of the stuff you want to paint. Here you go. Happy to answer. So yeah, where is my Photoshop? Okay, so proceeding. We got the shadows. we got what one? Okay, I wanted to go back to the eyes because they are a little bit crooked. And also I will maybe show you something about the eyes, guys, something very important. First of all, I will maybe fix the shape of this eye over here, maybe make it more open, but also taking like this slightly darker color, and with this big bust, you can go and paint a line of darkness over here to make this eye more shiny. This is not the optimal outcome for me, but usually I would go and like add a little bit like of darkness in the corner to show that the eyeball is around that, and then add some highlights or reflections in this darker element. Of course, when I want to do something interesting, it doesn't work when I'm showing it to people. This is like normal, don't mind me, guys. And also, okay, I will add a little bit. We'll go to the reference and see if he has lower eyelashes visible. I think that we can add a little bit of the eyelashes because he has very strong framing of the eye over there, and right now it's not so strong with this painting, so we will go with it a little bit of dark, and also I will blend out this line over here. It doesn't look the best right now, I will be honest. It would look better if it was cleaner, but it's not. Sorry. If he has patience, I recommend him trying to stipple the bird. Yes, I would try to stipple it, but I would start with the filter from the airbrush, I think. And to give like this general color first. Okay, does it look better? It kinda does. So adding this shadow in the corner and having this highlight over here should make it more shiny. It's a little bit too intense, I think, but I'm usually doing something like that. Not 100% of the eraser. Okay, I'm spending too much time on that. But something like this. So I'm trying to create like this 3D effect by shading the corner, and if I have the place, and in this case I have the space, I'm just trying to add some more shininess to the eye. And also there is the one very important thing is lacking, and this is like those reflections. And those reflections are one of the only pure white elements I'm usually adding to the bust, and you can see how much lively the eye became instantly. Okay, so framing of the eye, the shape of the eyelashes and the shadows around the face are very important always. Because with the shading and highlighting, I'm not sure, guys, if you've seen those trends in makeup. So at some point there were like people basically changing the shape of their face with like with the contouring, so with highlights and shades of the faces. You can totally change how you look in reality. So That's why with the shading and highlighting your miniatures, you need to be so conscious. See, I added those very dark shadows and they shape the eye like immediately. So you need to be very conscious about where you start the shadow and how long it goes, how thick it is, because it will completely change the shape of the eye. And again, see, I'm not painting any kind of very harsh lines, any wrinkles. I'm using just general blended out shadows, and this is so important and works really nicely. Okay, so I would add like a little bit of shadow over here to make the eyebrow a little bit darker, because I don't like how bright it is right now. And I will just maybe try to first of all highlight those wrinkles over here. I will make them lighter, but you will see that they are very intense anyway. Especially over here. See, they are lighter, but they are still very intense. How big of a difference is it? But we are still noticing them very strongly. Okay, so this is my idea of the wrinkles. I will just quickly paint in a little bit of the lips, and I will go with more brownish color maybe. I will try to be quick right now because I've spent a lot of time on this one already. Okay, so adding, this is not the perfect color also. Sorry, I will quickly redo it. Multiply. Okay, so painting in the actual lips, because the lips have their color. And also they have their shape, which you can observe on the... He has pretty full lips, I would say. But just always try to observe like the shape of the lips. So they are very thin over here and they are thicker over here. For him at least. I don't like the color, and because we are in Photoshop I can try to modify it slightly. Okay, so maybe this would be better for him. Oh, something like that, yeah. I will go with this. And right now he's very flat and very neutral, so I will just go with painting some wrinkles. So again, going back to your reference, it has I will try to shade a little bit also the 5 o'clock shadow, because I think that that's important for this guy. But we'll do some very quick wrinkles. You can see over here that they are darker, so we can just shade them. Also the darker wrinkles will look deeper. I will go like in this color, I think, for the wrinkles. Yeah. So they are a little bit deeper. They go like very like just flat over here. So let's be quick. Chop chop. Something like that. They should be more realistic, but this is quick iteration. Also, you can see that his shadows are going like a little bit down on his face, so we can just try to add them, but be very delicate about them. Very blended out, very delicate, something like that. And now, sorry for the stream malfunction. And now we'll go with the 5 o'clock shadow. I will go into this layer, I think, and we'll go with bluish gray, something like that. Okay, does it work? No, it's not enough blue. Something like this. See, and it's bluish. Also, it's a multiply layer in Photoshop, so it's in reality it would work slightly different, but because it's bluish, it looks like a 5 o'clock shadow. So we'll just quickly paint it on in like more or less correct way. And then after this filter I will add just a little bit of detail to make it work, basically. Also, it would look better if everything under the 5 o'clock shadow was nicer, basically, and it's very sketchy, so it's not nice. Yeah, but we are trying to be quicker. So yeah, we have the base. I will make it. Okay. The shape is not perfect, I think. It should be lower, like lying over here. Okay, his 5 o'clock shadow is not this mega chat. And now we can go with the layer of detail. So take some kind of highlight. If I had any kind of I need a brush. If I had any kind of Photoshop brush for it, it would be perfect, but I don't have it. Okay, this is too bright again. Okay, maybe this. So just going around doing some dots. I would do the dots only in the most important areas. I don't know why it doesn't work right now. Okay, so let's be quicker. It's not correct, it's too bright. But we will leave, right? We can survive it. And so I can just like that. Okay, this is awful, but you know, I would just go create like this texture around, mostly in the areas where it's the most intense. So for example, around the Cupid bow on his mustache, because Cupid bow always catches a lot of highlight, and the detail and the textures are the most visible in the well highlighted areas. In the shadows they are less visible because shadow is basically obscuring it. So I would go and paint like the light detailing, then I would go into the darker color and create like also some darker detailing. The shaping of those details is not perfect. I made his face look more chunky than it should be, but I don't want to dwell much more on the shading of this character. So if you would like to work on it more, you can find your reference and just think about the placement of the shadows, stuff like that. So see, don't try to paint the whole texture with the detail. Add the base color and then add the detail on the texture in the places where you need them, because if you would want to paint everything with the texture like from start to finish, it will be too much. Yeah, I know that it's expired. I will send you the Discord. I will send the Discord invite over here in the chat. Sorry guys for that. Okay, so we got the switcher, and I basically overpainted almost everything, but you have the difference. So the good thing to go, like the good way to go, is to basically paint the Witcher face on this mask. Yeah, but you can, you know, just using this way of mine that I've spent like the last hour feedbacking it. Yeah, but something like that. Also, you can see the progress. Like I was just basically layering the different changes, and I usually work like that with my busts. Yeah, here you go, guys. You can support my Patreon if you want. Okay, so I'm not sure if here we had only one. Okay, we have 2 submissions from F, and they're pretty good, I think. Okay, I will first check if we have any description. over here. This one is finished, and this is a work in progress, and I currently think it's a bit boring. Going to add more color into the whitish clothes and try to make the lighting more interesting somehow. Okay, this one is finished. I think that this one is pretty nice. I like how the colors are bleeding in between the neighboring surfaces. I think that in some cases it's a little bit too strong. So for example, I think that this violet over here is a little bit too similar to this violet over here, and it looks a little bit too much like you just went crazy with the airbrush filter. So optimally, I would like it to be more, I know, more I don't know how to call it, but I would like it to look like it was more of a conscious decision than just a airbrush stain. But also usually the airbrush stains, like jumping from one surface to another, they create this effect of ambient lighting. So this is like this light that bounces off from the surfaces, from the neighboring surface. So for example, this and it works the best with very intense colors. So for example, over here we have nice green, so it should be bouncing from the metal over here. So if this green was bleeding into this non-metallic metal, it would look pretty nice because you would show with it that the physics are working. And so this is mostly my feedback for this one. I like this in general. You could highlight some of the wrinkles, but it looks pretty okay as it is. But for the non-metallic metal, I would go with... Also, I like the shadows all over the miniature. I think that the strap over here is missing the shadow a little bit. And it looks flatter than the rest of the miniature, but the shadows are good in general. The non-metallic metal lacks some of this ambient reflections. So, and this non-metallic metal has the perfect opportunities to show it. So for example, like this brown flap of skin is overlapping this metallic color. So you could paint it like this brown color over here. It would be perfect to show this reflection. Even you could even try to paint like this shape of this flap over here. So basically I can overpaint it. I don't need to describe only. So maybe try to paint the shape of the flap and then just take a little bit of this color in over here to show that this is reflecting. This doesn't look perfect. Also, it's a little bit too intense, but something like this would perfectly show that we have like this physics working. Okay, now I will source a little bit of this green and I will just put it into here. Here, I'm not sure where more. And on the side as well, but it's not that visible. And I would take a little bit of darkness because we have very strong shadows on the top of his head. Also, I know that it may be the case of the photo, but I will assume that we have those shadows painted. And I would paint stronger contrasts, especially in the areas next to those ambient reflections. So over here, for example, I will put a little bit more darkness. I think that is too harsh on the other hand, but this darker area will contrast the reflection from over here. So I would put it over here. You can deepen the reflection over here. Deepen the reflection maybe over here because it's lower, over here, over here, over here. And you know, not everything needs to be very shiny, but I like when stuff is contrasted. So adding just a little bit of darkness in the non-metallic metal will make it more shiny. But because we make this more shiny, the light reflection over in the middle is very contrasted, and it makes much brighter. It looks much brighter than it looked before. Like, it was pretty bright before, but right now it's totally bright and just stealing the attention from the head. So I mentioned before highlighting the wrinkles, so now I'm like 300% sure that this guy should have stronger highlights on his face, almost white, or maybe a face paint, so I don't know, like something texture, because he has fun texture, so he could have like this texture white overpaint like somewhere over here on the face to bring the attention back from this plate. If not a face paint, then maybe highlights on the skin to make it more shiny and more interesting, especially on the crevices of the wrinkles. Now I will go with the dots because I don't have the patience right now to fill in the nice detailing, but the lines would be too intense for this one. So something like that. Add more texture, and this texture, highlighted texture, would go against like this smooth highlight over here, so we would have like this beautiful effect on this bust. So yeah, something like that. Going around the miniature, I would do the highlights the strongest around his eye to bring attention to his eye. And also with this highlight you can basically create like this harsh texture visible on his skin. So something like that, yeah. Cheers! This is your Jim, okay. No airbrush, so pretty good. You did good, especially if there is no airbrush. I'm very proud of you. Very good job. Just make it more like, I think that it looks very random because it's just slightly too big. So I would make this a little bit low, like not lower but smaller. Do the dark shadows on the armor have a harsh edge, or should they blend in? I would blend them out because you already have this like very dispersed look, but you can keep them more geometric, maybe like a little bit wonky, so not perfect like triangle or different geometric shape, but like something like this to make it more natural and more organic. But in this case you can like try to, you know, make them like 2 or 3 shapes, just place one next to each other, to mimic like those elements in the surroundings reflecting in the armor. So basically if he's standing far away from the objects, the reflections should be blended out, or if the armor is not as reflective, it should be blended out, and if he's standing next to something very geometric and very close and the armor is reflective, then it can have like this geometric shapes. Hello! Talking about textures and contrast, I love the idea of smooth armor, stippled face, and maybe he can try some more fibrous lines texture in the clothes. Exactly, and this is another layer of textures you can work on. Like not textures, like texture, yeah, this is texture, but textures are another layer of contrast you can add to your painting. Of course, it doesn't always work for every miniature because, for example, 28mm usually have very limited space for the textures, but something like that, it's perfect. And because like usually the clothing is very good for that, but also like this kind of skin, just perfect. So this is very, very nice. So yeah, so this is the first one from Frog Jim. And this is the other one, and you said that it's a little bit boring, so to make it more interesting you could, I don't know, for me the first element of interest over here is actually this butcher knife or wherever it is. So you can add something A, interesting, B, just more shiny into it. And okay, with what am I painting? And okay, I cannot see it because it's like that. Okay, let me correct this. Multiply. Okay. Cleaver, yeah, exactly. So first of all, you can go with this cleaver and make it more contrasted in a way. You could, if you would like to, you can even paint a kitchen reflected in this cleaver. I don't want to paint it right now because it will take too much time. And I already painted a Witcher face, so I need to, you know, save my strength. But you can add wherever. You could even take, like, I'm not sure if it's like the best idea for this lighting situation, but if you would like to add a little bit more shadows into this painting, I think that you could paint, for example, a fire reflecting over here, so fire from the stove or something. Or you could, I don't know, paint a stack of carrots reflecting into this cleaver. Yeah, so this is like one idea. The light, you can just paint it as slightly reflecting. If you would decide to go for light, I would keep it in this darker area to contrast it nicely. And I'm not sure if you would have to paint like this OSL on this character, but also it would go nicely with the OSL. And what more? I think that you could add something to him, like to this character. For example, I don't know, paint a Michelin star, like 3 Michelin stars on his hat, for example, or maybe a McDonald's logo, or I don't know, do something interesting with this carrot. I'm not sure yet. Maybe paint a sad face on it. But more ugly, so it could be a mandragora carrot, stuff like that. If you want to make it more interesting, you can go like with the storytelling very hard. For me, the easiest solution would be to add something to his clothing, actually, or I don't know, something that would add to the storytelling of this miniature. Not necessarily the the colors, but I think that like this idea could work a little bit better. Or this carrot could be, for example, violet or something. I don't know. I would like try to modify it a little bit to make it more exotic and more interesting in this way. So violet carrot. Also, this green is too intense. Especially if it's meant to be natural. You could, for example, he has like all of the knuckles visible, so you could add tattoos and I don't know, paint a chef tattoo on his knuckles, for example. My opacity is too low, so yeah, chef. Or my name is chef. I think that I would go with some kind of tattoos or stuff like that to make it more interesting, yeah. I'm gonna have to go, but your stuff on AG is so cool. Thank you very much, I'm happy that you like it. I will re-upload the stream on my YouTube channel if you would like to catch up later. So yeah, I would go with this kind of storytelling vibes. Okay, we got this and we got the other one, so I will progress. We got Minimancer. Do we have Minimancer in the chat? Whoop 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 whoop. Or did he go away when it was his turn? This is your autumn celebration project. five apps? No, high fives for Minimancer. This is your autumn celebration project, and I've been exploring rim lights this year a lot. This rim light is very cool. It works nicely. I will talk about it a little bit more. And this is work in progress. Very nice work in progress. Okay, so let's go to the Photoshop. I will start with this one. So this is very nice autumn celebration, but I think that she misses a little bit of composition. So I would go with a vignette effect over her. Again, multiply. Vignette effect. So, oops, not that much. So I would make the end of the cloak darker. It could go into the brown color, but I'm just trying to, be quick. Also, I would do the base a little bit more saturated, especially because she has a lot of detailing all over. The texture is painted and the leaves are very intense, and the basing is a little bit cluttery, I would say. You could, for the base, I think that adding like this clear road in front of her, and maybe just piling the leaves on the sides to create like those more V-shaped composition in front of her would work good for the base, because right now it's a little bit too random in my opinion. I would make the end of the cloak a little bit darker, and then some of the leaves could be yellow, brighter, darker, and they would be like they could bring even more interest over there. You did her lower legs darker, which is fine, very good, but also I think that the highlight is a little bit too strong, and I don't know, on the one hand it's okay, but I personally don't like this kind of very strong yellows, so I think that adding more neutral highlight on top of this very strong lime would be beneficial, to calm down a little bit this painting. But again, this is my personal taste, and if you like very strong greens, it's perfect for you. So this is not really anything I would advise to change if you like this kind of saturated colors. I will just quickly try to make it more neutral, just to show the difference. And this is not a big of a change, but it also brings more interest to the top of the character. And I would bring this highlights on his of her legs a little bit lower, because right now bottom of her legs looks like trousers a little bit, because there is not enough this basic skin color present over here. So I would bring it a little bit down, but respecting the shaded lower legs. Yeah, and also coverage on the antlers. I know that this is a quick project, no biggie, but you put so much time in everything else that the antlers could be a little bit more care about, basically. Yeah, but it's a very cool project. Yeah, and well done. I also respect quick projects and being able to go and be done with them, and not overworking everything. Okay, so this one is very cool, but because we have very strong lighting situation, I think that we could use a strong shadow situation. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I always do a bad job with bone things like that. So yeah, me too. I hate it. Okay, so I will try to add a little bit of shadow. I'm not sure if the placement will be perfect, but a little bit stronger shadows going like that, and also stronger shadows going through the middle of those metallic parts. I think they are a little bit too broad, but I want to be quick. Also shadow over here, and everything will be more shiny because of the shadow. Right now you did a good job with the colors and with the base, but for the future projects you might consider adding stronger, darker reflections, basically, especially on the areas that wouldn't see the main light source. And because this is a very strong orange, you could go over, is it multiply? No, it was a normal layer, so I can paint over it. Because maybe not from this one, but from this one I would add like this reflection over here in the darker area. And I don't know, I'm not sure about the placement because I don't know this scalp, but something over here maybe. And in general in the areas that would see like those neighboring surfaces. It could be broader over here. It doesn't always have to be very realistic. Over here maybe, so something like that, just paint those reflections. And this is very cool, the ring light is very nice, but this darker area just coming through the middle of this hand would make it even more atmospheric. See, this is very quick change, just more shadows. So always remember, when you are painting very strong lighting situation, complement with the shadow. And especially because you did it kind of on the face, right? You have this strong shadow over here, and the strong shadow contains the ring light. Yeah, but in general, very nice idea and very cool painting. Aitami Alonso taught me that normally paint a dark section between the main color and the, yeah, exactly. Just bringing more of the contrast. You almost snip the antlers off. Sometimes it's worth snipping stuff off. I've snipped the antlers for my Lesha version and for my bust version, and I was pretty happy about that. Like, I made them shorter, but it was a good choice for me. Okay, for this one, the painting is very good in general. I think I like those different tones in his bird, that makes it very interesting. I think that this painting at this moment, it lacks a little bit of contrast. But in general it's very good, and I like the interesting colors you've put everywhere all around. Of course you don't need to contrast everything, as I said before, but I will just show you how I would add a little bit more shadows. And I won't add them maybe everywhere to respect your choices, but for example, again, like in the non-metallic metal, I would add just a line of shadow, like going like this, and maybe somewhere, I don't know. I'm not sure how I would do on the face. I would have to think about it for a while, so I don't know, something like that. And then this one is complicated. I don't know, I will just sketch it. So darker like this, keeping like this half crescent shape. This wouldn't go like this, like completely. I will go with the eraser a little bit. So something like that. Adding some shade at some points to bring more contrast. And then I would just slightly shade bottom of this vest, because this green is as intense as the green on the top of him, of this character, and you can either bring it up with stronger highlights over here or with making it darker on the bottom of the painting. So I would go with that. And see, just adding like this little bit of darkness on the outskirt of the bust, like ties the composition, closes it a little bit. Yeah, but this is very, very cool painting as well. And I really like this miniature. Those greens in the bird are pretty nice. Yep, very cool. And now we are jumping into Melta's piece. It's pretty good. Maciej on our Discord, like Connor Shannery, already like pointed out that the lighting situation is not consistent. So this part over here is reflecting the light source going from the top. So because it's facing up, so it kinda like the shape suggests that it reflects like this yellow light source going from the top. But the face suggests us that the casted light comes from under the miniature. So just keeping the consistency. And also like this part over here again suggests us that the light source is going from this side. So just tidying it up, putting it in order. I like it. For a quick painting, it's very, very good. I think that this shade over here is very like 80s painting, because this is very like I don't know, this is very characteristic feature for some faces, and this is also artistic choice in my opinion. I personally wouldn't paint it. Oh shit. Not in this way. I personally wouldn't paint it because usually it's present, or at least I can think about it like on Frank Frazetta art, when they were really trying to pick up like those different dramatic muscle tones in the face. And usually women have very smooth faces. Again, if it's a conscious choice, it's okay, I would keep it. But if it's a random choice, then I would smooth it out a little bit. I know. I think that this is a facial feature more present in the male characters, but again, this is a fighter, and she may have some of the features to underline her character. I would bring something interesting into this painting. And also she has very Spock eyebrows. So I would personally, of course, if she's meant to look like a fantasy elf character, those eyebrows are okay. I think that's like, how does her ear look like? They are human ears, so and like for me, those Spock eyebrows and this muscle toning over here, it looks like the miniature painting from 80s and 90s, like maybe not 80s but 90s, where everything was like very inspired by heavy metal art and by Frank Frazetta and all of those old school fantasy painters. So if it's something that Malte wanted to paint, it's alright. But I personally don't enjoy these artistic choices, because I don't like that much how to say it. I don't like the aesthetics of those guys from the older fantasy and stuff. Like some of them are okay, but they are not my personal favorites. So see, that would make her more natural. Like the brow is a little bit too long. I can erase the end of the brow. I would make it a little bit, you know, more natural, because I personally like the character to be more natural in a way, and more neutral. But if it was meant to be like that, then it's okay. And also, like, this is a little tip and trick. Her eyes, like her gaze, would be more intense if she had more darkness on the eyelash line, especially because her hair is dark, so her eyelashes could be darker. Hello everyone, is there a link to the Discord? I will link you the link of the Discord. Give me a second. Here you go. I have to fix those links and I need to refresh my Twitch, but I'm like I'm too lazy. Sorry. Okay, so what I like with this painting, I like those undertones visible like over here and here. They make the painting more interesting. And this texturing over here I like a lot. This green is very interesting. Thank you for the follow. So yeah, tidying up the lighting situation and maybe fixing the brows. But again, those brows are like the stylistic choice and they may be alright from Malta. Yep, so I'm done with the stuff that was posted before the stream. Oh no, it's like we are missing this one. Did I add it to... No, I didn't. Okay, so we'll proceed. I think that this is Tio the zebra. Again, just the T. No. Give me a second. Or maybe like, or no, we are staying for 2 hours. Okay, I can go a little bit longer. Okay, we will save this one. Ramisera, I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. This is very nice. 8. Oh my god, I cannot find the... I hope that I won't get a ban on YouTube because of the TDs. Spoiler, this is Silver March VIP with the Skies Network and the head wrap. Certain naked for the stream. Okay, so I'm not opening it. Sorry, Mansar. Okay, so the 8, no, the 7. The 8. How does it look close up? Okay, the close up is kind of bad, so let's pray to the YouTube gods that the TD won't get me banned. Or maybe I will just try to do a very quick censorship. Okay, very quick. So guys, and this one, and this one. Okay, got it. maybe I can show it. Probably. Held a message for reason, swearing. Swearing on my chat. Hello. Yeah, it's. I hope that it's. You know, if they will ban me, I will message you and be very sad about it. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Splash obraz? Nope, I don't want to do it. I will maybe just keep it in the one group. This is the safe option. Okay, I will start with this one because it was first. Do we have the context? Would appreciate any feedback, mostly advice on painting skin. So I will focus on the skin. I think that, like, depending on which direction you want to go, if it's meant to be more alive or more dead, you can actually take some kind of like brown if it's meant to be kind of alive, and add a filter with this brownish shadow to make it more, maybe not on this muscle, because we shouldn't like separate muscles that strongly, but just add a little bit of brown, like over here and over here, maybe like on the ends, on the feet, to make it more interesting, and to add a little bit of shading. Something like that. You can add a little bit of reddish colors as well. It really depends. In case you would like to go into like those, like the dead zone, basically, you can add a little bit of green. It depends. In general, I would add anything to make it more interesting, because right now it's, I don't know, it's very in sepia tones, and if you really want to make it interesting, I would try to add some shadows, some maybe dirt, I don't know, maybe some kind of war paint. Also, like, this is too bright. If it's like, I think that it looks like mostly it's not that painted, but if it's meant to be dragging behind him, it should be darker and dirtier, right? At least a little bit. So I would add those shadows and those blue filtering. Those shadows, depending on the color you want to bring into this painting, and they can be color, so blue or warmer. So, for example, violet or brown. And I don't know. It depends. This guy is meant to be the base for something, so I don't think that he needs to be very, very colorful. So maybe the next step would be actually highlighting the skin a little bit stronger, because skin usually reflects a lot of light, so we can go with this even neutral reflections. Why I cannot see anything? The question. Okay, because it's not bright enough. So some kind of reflection. You know, like, he's carrying something, so he can be sweaty. So actually he can have like a lot of white reflection because his skin is kinda moist. So more reflections in the skin, and also if the skin would be very, very sweaty, you could add some of the non-metallic metal effect. So for example, take this darker color, and I'm not sure if it will work, but on the end of the nose you can add slight shade to create this like reflected ambient light from underneath the nose, or a little bit of darkness in between the layers of reflected light. because usually when something is reflective, we have like this light dark light dark areas. So if his skin was meant to be sweaty, he could have like those lines of shadow just running around his face. So something like that. See, and it's kind of making him more shiny with those highlights and those shadows in between. So really depending on how he is meant to look like. And maybe some scratches in the knees. Oh, exactly. Elbow and shoulders because he hits the platform while walking. Yep. Can I send you my figure here? Yes, you can send it, Piotrek. Or Piotrek or the elusive Innu Kingdoms. I will be painting a miniature from Innu Kingdoms in like next year, not next year, next week or the next week, and just before the Black Friday. Willow, yeah, please send it. Okay, so like the scratches, this is a very good idea. The dirty clothes, yeah, basically everything. Also, it depends how much interest you want to bring into this character and what is he carrying. So maybe it would be better idea to keep him neutral, and so he wouldn't be stealing the attention from the guys he is carrying. Yeah. So, but this is like the feedback from me. Here we go. In general, this is a very good base. So this one, very nice. This is very like skin is very nice. I like it a lot. Very nice tones. Non-metallic metal is great as well. So I don't have that much to comment over here actually. Here you go. Happy to help. With this one, I think that what I would add is stronger reflections, but only because I like when stuff is shiny. So this is really a personal choice. And also like he's shiny and he's sitting basically on the skull, so he could have like this around the shape over here. Blacker. And we could take the skull color and basically put it over here to create like this reflected effect. It's not perfectly painted, but it's there. Yeah, but again, this is a very good painting. Like with this kind of color scheme, I would be worried. You left me a comment, like in what way? Over here? No. Where did you let me a comment? Yeah, so basically I would add this reflection over here, but also with this painting, this teal color is very dangerous for this composition because it's very intense, and in my opinion it may be stealing the attention from the girl a little bit. So it really, like, it's very nicely painted, but also the ground is like overtaking the painting a little bit. It's not very bad, it's really, you know, the stuff that you are placing your priorities with painting. If it was a conscious decision, like to let the miniature lose a little bit of importance, then it's alright. If you like to fight it, basically you can, like the easiest step for me is to add a little bit of body paint, for example, in the color of the base, but a little bit stronger to her body or something, I don't know. Yeah, so something like that. it would be it would have to be more saturated if it was to conquest this base basically. But I don't think that it's very needed actually. It's pretty cool. I would just make a stronger reflection in the tiger because I like it personally. And I really like the face of the tiger also. Below the last peak. Oh, sorry. I messed it, I think. Yeah, this is like a lot of text. A bit of context. This model is finished for me. I tried to make an atmosphere where the girl and the golden lion are into a blue cave. Like they live there or they are lost there, I don't know. The idea also is that the top of the cave there is a crack where the light comes. That's why it's highlighted from the center top, and that's it. It was my entry for SMC, and I would like to know your honest opinion. Okay, so if it's meant to be a cave, honestly, and if it's meant to be a located in a crack, I would maybe try to paint some kind of crack visible, you know, like I know that the atmosphere might be more general, but I think that this very neutral lighting situation is not showing the atmosphere like at least in a way I would imagine it. So I would maybe try to paint, Jesus Christ, it's too intense. I would maybe try to make this darker. And if it's meant to have the light mostly from the top, I would also paint the shadow over here because she is casting the shadow. And that would create like the stronger atmosphere of the light casted from the top, I think. Yeah, and also I think that I would do something with the tiger, like to show it in a way, like maybe stronger contrast in him. I'm not sure, just to bring more atmosphere, because I think like the lighting situation you came up with is very interesting. So it would be cool to like, you know, underline it even more. I know I would try to think like how to make it more in the crack shape basically. But I know that the crack in the lighting situation may be a little bit broader, but sometimes you need to put like this very concentrated idea if you want to display it very nicely. And I think that if you I think that with this lighting situation actually the backdrop would help, and because that would give more context to her, and you could, I don't know, paint like this stony background with like this line of shadow painted over here and highlight behind her, so it would be with this line of shadow over here, the viewer would understand that she's sitting in the spotlight in a way. So I don't know, I think that I would do something like that, but again, like this is just enhancing the and making it more more dramatic than it already is. But this is very good painting in general anyway. So you know, really the only thing that you can change are like those artistic choices. Yeah, just if you have like this singled out character, sometimes we really need to do the stuff that's very dramatic, especially if people are meant to understand something. So if you cared about people understanding what the situation is, then you like, I would go into the direction I've painted. If it's not important, then the job is done basically. Yeah, so you know, just be aware about stuff you want to do and how obvious you want to be with it. Yeah, I think that actually I would I don't think that every miniature should have a background, but I think that this one for your idea would enhance it. Yeah, but either way, it's very well painted, it's very high quality, I like it a lot. The tiger is just, this tiger is fire basically, so very well done. and I like the skin tones a lot, and also the base is very cool as well. So everything, a lot of goodies over here. Big props. Annoy. Do I have more? Yeah, I have the 9. Okay, so yeah, like we were talking about this today, sometimes you have to really make an idea of, yeah, exactly, idea obvious for the judges, exactly. And this one, I wanted to resculpt old OG Archon from Dark Eldars for my army. Note there is no NMM, cause my other units are in True Metallic Metal. Should I push edges with white or hand and chest? Maybe some freehand on cape. I want to stay in Grim style. I will be honest, I don't know this miniature, but I think that this conversion is pretty cool, especially with this head on the helmet. I think that, like, it depends. I think that this photo may be a little bit dark. Do we have another photos over here? Yeah, I think that this photo is a little bit dark. So I think that I would do slightly stronger highlights on this armor. Especially, like, some of the areas should be a little bit bigger, because I suppose, like, the true metallic metal is over here and over here. You can push the edges with the silver highlights, because they would also make the darker areas of the true metallic metal looking more rusty or older. Let me find raw file. Okay. I think it's too late to add pictures now, isn't it? Add them, no worries. Like, I will try to finish the stream around 1 a.m. So we have a little bit more time. And this is True Metallic Metal. I think as well it's not very visible on the picture, but it looks like True Metallic Metal. So I think that in general I would make those highlights stronger on this armor, on this grey armor, and also the green maybe a bit stronger, and again this feedback depends on the darkness of this photo. And you can add the edge highlights, lighter edge highlights. If they will be too bright, you can always wash over them and make them a little bit darker. So trying out stuff is just worth the hassle sometimes. I think that you can, in particular on this hand, you can add stronger highlights, because this is very interesting feature, and I would try to display it more. Okay. So do we have the raw files? Oh, this is very cool miniature from Neko Galaxy. Yeah, but this is pretty grim dark, I would say. You can try to highlight the top of the armor and make the bottom of the armor a little bit dirtier and darker, to again create like this display, the vignette effect. But also, if it's a gaming mini, it doesn't matter that much. Couldn't find, sorry. Okay, so yeah, I would highlight the top and grimdark the bottom and make the hem more detailed with some of the pure gold, because this is like the coolest feature of the miniature in my opinion. Like this detailing is cool also, but I like the hem the most, so I would make it a little bit brighter and add those edge highlights with the silver. Yeah, but very cool, very cool. Oh my god, what is the name? Not Resculpt, but Kit Bash. Yeah. Also, I think like those, but this is just about the composition right now, right? I understand that this is a gaming miniature, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But those pink elements usually would be so strong that they would take away from attention from the other focal points on the painting. So this particular thing I would do in darker violet or less saturated, and then try to make this green more saturated and more visible, because this green is bringing attention to this area of the miniature, and this area is actually very important, and this pink is stealing the attention away slightly. But I know that this is the miniature for your army, so your painting is totally legit. If you are painting a display miniature, this is like the way I would think about it. Yeah. So the next miniature, Minimonster. Sorry, I'm not looking at this one. I will comment on it later on the chat. Give me a second. Okay, Piotrek from Neko sent me. Okay, I will show you this chat. So this is Piotrek from Neko Galaxy, and we were talking about the cats, as you can see over here. And this is his miniature, like the Zil. He started painting, so I will talk about it in a second. I will first jump into, where is my Discord? Orange Art. Where is Orange Art? Here. I will jump into this one. So commenting on her face. I think it would probably be fine for stream, but better to be safe for sure. Yeah, but I want to upload it later on YouTube, so it is tricky. Okay, so this one it's from Nalen, and I would love to hear about any changes I should make to the skin before I paint eye makeup. Also, do you think she should have larger iris, or does the slightly surprised looks suit the sculpt raised eyebrows? Many thanks. It really depends what you want to do with this miniature. By the way, I have very cool Neko Galaxy mug, and I love it. I drink coffee, my morning coffee every day with it, from it. Okay. It really depends. If you want to create like this narration of her being surprised, and and it's fun for you, I think that you should keep it as it is. And I also think that it's a cool interpretation for this miniature, because she has like this very pleasant shape of lips that make her pleasantly surprised. So I would keep it, and I consider that, like, I think that it makes her face more interesting. Also, the interpretation is more interesting for me. I like the gray eyes, like with her red hair, and those like speckles on the face. I don't remember the name. Not wrinkles. Oh my god, I don't remember. Yeah, it looks ace, like this face. I mean, freckles. Yeah, exactly. With her skin tone, I think that you could add a little bit more highlights, but again, it depends on how strongly you want to push the highlights. I lost it. Oh, I got it. So you could always add stronger highlights. Let me find this. Is this it? Yeah. You can always push the highlights a little bit more, and they will. What? Oh no, guys, give me a second. Okay, so I'm not saving those pictures. I hope that you don't mind, because uploading everything would be too complicated and I run out of my of space on my main disk. Okay, do I have more? Yeah, I have more space. Okay, so it will be for comp, so please be brutal. Okay, so I would make more highlights on her face on her skin to make it more radiant, basically. Also more dramatic, and dramatic stuff for competitions always works great. So something like that. Also, because you want to play with this should be blended out on her forehead a little bit more. Also, because you want to play with her facial expressions, I would highlight corners of her lips to show better their placement, and then I would paint stronger shadows, like you can. Okay, this is too intense. I need a new layer. This is too strong. So hard to paint these days. I would paint like this corner of her lips a little bit higher to make her like, see, like you can. But again, right now those highlights over here look a little bit too strong. So you can, I think that I would make them a little bit more like darker in a way. But again, like everything that I'm considering right now, the values will change after you will add the eye makeup. So I will actually, before considering like the finish effect of her skin, I would actually first paint the eye makeup, and I'm not sure how hard you want to go with this makeup. I won't go pure black in case, okay, it's almost black anyway, so who cares. So I will paint very dark eyelashes because they really bring the expression of the eyes, and they always frame the eye in a nice way. And to make her eyes look more open, don't paint this line in the middle to the end of the eye, basically. Just paint it a little bit. I know that it's hard because this miniature is not that big, but I wouldn't like fill it completely, at least on the bottom, maybe in the corner of the eye, because it looks unnatural. But I would paint it like this, something like that. I'm not sure how this miniature looks in real life, so it's hard to judge, but I would paint it, okay, so if the eyelashes would look like this, yeah, I think that I would make the irises a little bit bigger. In particular this one, to make it rounder and more regular. And let's see how it looks right now. Yeah. Just moving this one. Oh no, my Photoshop is not working. Guys, quick intervention, give me a second. Scouting, whatever. Okay, let me do a quick correction of my free disk space. I was hoping that it won't happen today evening, but my resources are running low, sadly. You got it? Is it done? Please be. Okay, I think that it may be also because of Firefox. Okay, so again, going back to the eyes. I think that they could be alright like this, but also you have, at least like on this picture, a lot of space available over here, so we can add like a little bit of like this line of reflection to maybe make them slightly more reflective. And again, I did it not correctly. Shade it a little bit over here to make them more 3D. Oh, also for that Witcher bust, I forgot to mention it, but I think that you could add the red in his eyes, because with miniatures I don't like when people push too much red into the eye, because there is this theory of undertones visible everywhere, and people know that we have a bit of red in our eyes and they constantly put too much red there. Over here it's alright, I like it, but only for the Witcher I would actually recommend playing with those undertones and adding like those veins in the eyes. It's very helpful, thanks. I was thinking she needs more shadows, but you think just pump the highlights for more. I would go for the highlights in the first place, but then you can actually go as the other option with the shadows. So I will just show you how it may work. So you know, you can layer the changes. I would go with the shadows, but also it depends, first of all, it depends on the surroundings of the face. So if she will be wearing a black suit, for example, then pushing the shadows on her face will be a positive change, because the face will be more contrasted and will be like contesting stronger the area on the bust basically. I think that I would add some shadows to her eyes, because they are too neutral right now. So here over the eye sockets I would add some shadow to make the eye more interesting and to fill a little bit the area in between her brow and the eyelid. And it can be done with a brownish color, it can be done with a reddish brown, if you want her to look natural. See, something like that, with it and without it. So I think like this shade over here is the most important. But also you can add a little bit shadow under her nose, and then add this cute little reflection over here. It's very cute and I like it a lot, and not that many people paint it, so I would add it. And again, like Alt G, see? When I'm trying to, when I'm painting it step by step, you don't see the changes almost at all, but when they are layered on top of each other, the change is like outrageous, basically. So something like that. You can basically layer it and just go step by step, try to add this, remove that. I think like actually those highlights that I've painted, like they are too dramatic, so I would blend them out a little bit more outside. Especially on her forehead and over here, I think. But also it's because of the blush, so you can If you would like to make those highlights a little bit more normal, let's call it like that, you can basically, and keep the blush, you can add like this second layer of reflection on her skin, and it would make her face more reflective in a way, but you need to place it really well also to not make her face look too triangle. I did it with my Argat box art, for example. So you can sometimes see like I'm adding like this extra reflection under the cheekbone, and it makes those cheekbones a little bit visually a little bit lighter and broader. Yeah. So yeah, just layer, man. See how it looks, where it goes, and make it work. Also, cleaning up the lips will help her a lot, and the corners of her lips will like progress the expression. Okay, next one. Which box art? I've painted Argat box art. Argat. I need to check my Instagram. It was 100 years ago, or 80 years ago. This one. You can see like this extra line of reflection, because I wanted to have her like this redness over here, and also I wanted her cheeks to be very shiny. So this one. Also follow my Instagram. I'm aiming for 10,000 followers on my Instagram before end of this year. And you can see like over here is without this reflection. Here again with the reflection. So I sometimes like to do that, but also be aware that sometimes this stuff can make the angles more angular basically, and not as flat. Also, this is my I repainted a Magic the Gathering card, and I'm very proud of this. So I present to you one of my greatest achievements. Solve the equation meme. Yep. Okay, going back to Neko Galaxy. I like it a lot, actually. It's cool. Like, he doesn't have like this conventional face, so it's really like you can go wherever and however you want to go with him. I will maybe obscure my I had something before opened over there. I think that it was this. Okay, so proceeding with the stream. I like this piece because he's very unconventional. He doesn't have like this traditional face, so you can go a little bit wild with the composition. And this painting, like, because the strong reds are basically keeping this area in the strongest focus point, and then we have this orange details over here. It brings the attention to his face, even though we, at the first place, we get a little bit lost in general area of this upper body. So I would say that it's pretty cool. Hey, thank you. Najib Jack, thank you. Nan, as I'm not following your Instagram already, your box art of Ra for Carlo Minis got me into the. Oh, it's nice to hear. And actually, it's one of like my. I like a lot of my paintings, but this is very cool painting for me because I don't know, like when I saw her, it just hit me in the right way, and I instantly knew what I want to paint there. So it's very special and very cool miniature. Yeah, so I think that the oranges over here are very positive choice, and this is how we can keep the attention in the right places, right? So we know that we have a lot of interest over here. I think that those granites, because those are like the only so far green element, and they are contrasting with the reds very strongly. They are stealing the attention a little bit, but it's not a big deal because it has so much detail all around, and we don't have like this normal face that the orange is stealing the attention later, and we end up in the right zone. And I like that everything is like, on the one hand it's very colorful and very detailed, so but also it's toned down in a way, so there is not too many colors and we have very nice textures. And Piotrek is very good with blending, so it's clean but also interesting because of those little delicate textures, and I think that is very, very good. So Piotrek, you just need to finish it. I dare you. Next year MPO Bristol, salute, fan model show, I hope to enter. Please enter, yeah. It's always worth to participate in competitions, and like pushing yourself with your painting for the competition, for example, will make you progress. So enter, see how you do. Please let us know on the Discord and crush the competition. Yeah, so I think that this one is very cool. I'm looking forward for the more progress, and I really like the vans in the back. Super. Oh, I didn't know that he has like this detailing on the cap in the back. Very nice. Where is fan model show? Is it in like France or somewhere? Or in Italy maybe? I know that I've heard about that one, but I don't. Oh, it's in UK. I think that I spoke with someone about it. In UK, okay. Okay, so, and also as you can see, there is a lot of detail all over, even though a lot of detail is not painted anyway. So toning down the colors is a good choice over here, because the amount of detail is not too colorful, and this way we have some kind of like order put in place. But it's hard for me to give any advice, honestly, because this is a very high level of painting anyway, and it's pretty cool, and Piotrek knows what he's doing, so I just need to wait for more advice. I think that I would highlight the ears a little bit stronger to bring because the shirt is very strongly highlighted, and the ears are in theory again like higher, so they are catching more light, so I would make them a little bit brighter, and this way they would catch more light. And also this is another place when you can paint an interesting texture. Yeah, so lighter ears, and then painting the rest of the stuff. I would maybe add darker reflections on this one, but also I know that this is in style of Piotrek, so I'm not sure how this advice applies. I will maybe paint it in. Space stations? Why space stations? Hey Miniature Art, thank you for follow. Space station. Do you have space station in Eli or Ellie? Thank you for follows, guys. The space stuff sucked. I got a core award. What? Okay, so I think that with the non-metallic metal I would add darker reflections closer to the bottom to make it more dramatic. Yeah. And also the edge highlight on the bottom, I would make it darker and keep the edge highlights from on the top the lightest. Like those edge highlights facing the main source of light, basically. So something like that. And also this detail is not that important, so it doesn't need to be this light, because when it's this light, it steals the attention from other elements. So for example, in my opinion, this metallic element over here is more important. So I would maybe add stronger reflection over here and reduce the reflection over here, because it's, you know, not that special. Good night. Did I see you at Fennan? I'm rubbish with remembering names. I'm rubbish, sorry. Yeah, 07. Yeah, so this is my feedback for this one. Very good job, not that much to comment. Looking for the progress. Yeah, a lot of details, but made in a very like thought out way, so very, very cool. So yeah, so this is the everything for today. If you want some more comments on my feedback stream, I will see how many submissions I will get during like the next week, and I'm also not sure how my weekend looks like, and if I have the time to stream during the weekend, but I will see how it goes. And I will try to do a next feedback stream in a week or week and a half. We'll see. You have to finish it. So yeah, you should finish it, Piotr, and then submit it somewhere. This is a very, very good painting, so you need to finish it. You cannot leave it like that. So yeah, I will do another feedback stream in a week or and a half, in a week, on a Jesus Christ, week and a half. If there won't be a lot of submissions, I won't do a dedicated feedback stream. I will just do a comments during some other stream. Yeah, and I will stream next week as well. I think I should stream during the weekend. I'm not sure though. And yeah, follow my Instagram. The best place to find my any information is to go to my Discord. You can also follow my Instagram, but I don't post everything over there. Also, if you have Prime subscriptions and you are not using them, please subscribe and or click follow, or you can, if you find those I don't know, comments helpful, you can support me on my Patreon. Yeah, this was a really interesting stream to watch along, although I also really like watching your process on the druid, so it's all good. Yeah, I will paint more druids during the week, I hope at least. My cat broke the druid yesterday, just after I finished the stream. He just jumped and with his sweet little ass he just pushed the druid into the out of the desk, so I have to glue the stuff back again, but it's not that bad. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching and see you the next time. Yeah, cool. Please consider subscribing me. Yeah, me, subscribe. Yeah. So thank you guys and see you next time. Ow, ouch. Bye.